Hello my audience, today I'm going to be talking to you about computer terms again, and we are gonna learn something. I have a book that is about modern operating systems, and I'm going to take one page at a time and I'm going to explain to you some terms in my own terms. And the first one is the first word is disquadas, and that's, a hard word to pronounce. Quadas. And what does that mean? It means that when you have a multi-user computer, a computer that has many users on it, it means how much the individual user can use the disk space. So it could be divided like half, or maybe something like 33% or something like that. And that's disquadas for multi-user operating systems. Okay, so the next subject over here is network protocols. What is that? I think network protocols in my own terms means that we have different kind of packages and there's routing in networking. And for example, if you are using torrents, the network protocols are kind of the standards that are being used to transmit those torrent packages through routing, switches, that kind of stuff, the whole internet. And I believe that that's network protocols, but I might be wrong. If you know this stuff better than me, you can explain it in the comments below. Okay, so the next subject over here is sandboxing. And sandboxing in computer terms, it means that the computer is running the program without the program having access to other programs or the operating system, and it can't affect the system in any way, and that's good for the security of the computer. So it's kind of like virtualization, but it's different. It's kind of the more modern solution. And then there's something called interpretation, and this I haven't heard about before. And that's related to, for example, like Java, how Java programs are run in virtualized environment, so they can't kind of change the program or the hardware, I think, in some ways. I don't know, but this is like security stuff. Okay, so the next subject I have for you over here is NFS servers and clients, and that's related to network file transfer. And that's possible through something called NFS, and I think I might be wrong about this. It was originally used in Windows, and that's a Windows specific standard. But if you have a Windows machine that has an NFS open drive, you can access it through the network even from Linux. I believe that's possible. And this just makes it possible for you to transfer files over networks, and then the bottleneck is the network and not really the computers. Usually it's not the computers that kind of determine the speed that you can transfer files through, but this is usually like related to not the internet. So NFS works in closed, or this your home type of networks, and if you wanted to use the internet, then you would use something like FTP for the file transfer over there. Okay, so the next subject over here about computers and computer terms is auto mounting. And what does that mean? Well, it's a Linux specific term, I think. Of course, I believe that it's also applicable to Windows and Mac, but it's a Linux term explained here. And that means that when you have something like SD cards and USB drives and also network attached storage, when Linux starts, it mounts before you even log in, for example, your SD cards and that kind of stuff. And that's the mechanism of how the computer can, for example, access your SD cards. It's through auto mounting. And it was explained like how it's actually done, but that's too complicated for me. But it's great to understand some of this stuff if you are a Linux user like me. Fedora, Linux all the way. Okay, another term, DLL. So that's Windows specific and it's related to the libraries. Man, I've been using Linux for so long that I have completely forgot about this crap. But DLLs are in Windows how different executables or exes can be used to run libraries. So different programs can use the same DLLs, and he used the term DLL hell in this book, and that's very funny. It's very funny because that's what it is. That's what it is. It's made in a very different kind of way because I believe that the executables unload the DLLs on your computer after installation usually, or some of the DLLs are included in the Windows operating system, so it creates, you know, this kind of jungle, you know, of this crap. And yeah, I believe it's made so much more intelligently and streamlined in Linux. Okay, this one, CDD, Compatibility Definition Document. What is that? It's related to Android, and I'm not really interested in that stuff, but it's the way how Android is made compatible with all the different hardware manufacturers. So it's dictated the CDD, compatibility something document. It's related to how Google dictates how the devices have to be compatible with the software. That's how I understand it. Maybe it has some value for me to understand because I'm a YouTuber, and I just realized that Apple users might not be, you know, so pushed to use YouTube. But yeah, I don't know. Okay, so the next term I have for you is concurrency. And that just means that computers do many things at the same time. And there's another term called deadlock that I explained in one of the other videos, and it's for the reason that computers get something like deadlocks. It's due to the concurrency. It's a system that does many things at the same time, and because of that it can get kind of, you know, fucked up. So it's pretty interesting. Are computers like women then? Well, yeah, they might be more like that, but they are usually created, they have been created, you know, by male brains. So it's pretty funny that we created computers like this. Yeah, I don't know. You can use a computer, by the way, just doing one thing at a time, but I don't know why, but maybe Linux is designed to be more used that way, and Windows is more like, you know, just all over the place. Yeah, that kind of stuff. Okay, here's a term I don't really understand, and this one was really something that was always repeated when I was learning computers: monolithic operating systems. But this is kind of an alternative to a monolithic structure, and I believe that Linux is monolithic operating system, and I don't understand what that really means, and I believe that there are very few people that really understand that. Of course, you can check it out. But layered systems, that's an alternative structure, and he says over here that even in Linux and Windows, even though they are monolithic operating systems, I think, they have layered structures in them. So does it mean that a monolithic operating system works on one layer then? Like what, like is it like that's what it's about? I don't know. If you understand this stuff, explain it in the comments. I'm learning many things. This is a learning channel. I try to learn. Yeah, that was modern operating systems for you and learning about modern operating systems today. I'm vegan. I use Fedora Linux. I have been using Linux for 5 years or 6 years, 7 years maybe even. At this point, it has been awesome. I highly recommend using Linux. I highly recommend learning about computers and taking control of the digital world in your life.